Hello guys, thanks for coming back. It's me, Dave. Of course it's me, it's my channel, who else is it going to be? This video is going to be about not pens, not paper for once. It's about something that I've been meaning to get hold of for a while, and I wasn't going to make this video today, but it actually arrived in the post a little earlier than I thought it would do. So you've probably seen these wooden mannequins. I don't have one to hand, unfortunately. The wooden drawing mannequins that are supposed to help you pose for anatomical accuracy. They are usually absolute garbage. They've got, you know, a massively limited range of movement. You can't get anything approaching a realistic pose with them. So I started looking online to see if there was an alternative, and the first thing I thought about was possibly action figures, so like kids action figures. The issue there is that most of them don't have very much articulation in them anyway, and so they're very limited to the poses that you can get. So even if if you want to draw the pose that this figure comes in, perfect. If not, you're stuffed. So I found these things. This is the first version of this. This is not the one I want to talk about in this video, but this is the first type of these things that I bought. It looks weird actually. This one's called this is called the Figma Archetype, and the reason I laugh there is because technically this is not a Figma Archetype. Technically this is a very cheap Chinese knockoff. So if I pull the base out the back there, this base is, you know, all but useless because it's so flimsy it can barely hold the thing up. Basically what you're supposed to be able to do with this one is it's so jointed and it's so articulated that you're supposed to be able to get lots and lots of lovely realistic poses, and, you know, pose for your drawings and make them anatomically correct. And this is casting some dreadful shadows. Let me just move the light up a bit. That made no difference. In fact, it made it worse. Okay, we'll just have to deal. But yeah, so I bought this one, not really realizing at the time it was a knockoff, because it was I saw it on eBay and it was something like I want to say £5 or £6 maybe, delivered from China, and that should have been my first clue really, that it was that cheap. It arrived and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, this is okay. And then you start actually using it, and there are certain things that this thing just does, you know. There we go. You bring the leg up to a certain point and it just falls off, and because of the way the joints are recessed, it's impossible, nearly impossible, to get that joint to go back on tightly. So now I've got this, you know, kind of weirdly deformed hipped creature. You know, it's not really doing what I want it to do. The joints are all so loose that the anatomy is completely off anyway, so that was, you know, a waste of money. What I did find was that Bandai actually do one called the Body Kun. Now this one is I've taken it out of the box already because I couldn't wait. It comes with this little booklet. It's by Figure Arts, I think it's part of Bandai, and this just kind of comes with a whole bunch of instructions, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming they're instructions. They're in some, what I assume is foreign language. I think it's Japanese, but I just, you know, I assume that this is telling you that, you know, you pose it and then take a picture with your cell phone and you've got a reference picture, which is actually a pretty good idea. A couple of other things it did come with was these pretty cool accessories, which are, I don't know how well these are showing up on here. Let's just move you out of the way a second. So these are, we've got a sword. These two parts make up a laptop. This is a tablet. We've got two different types of mobile phone, a pen and a gun. Then, you know, not super detailed, but they're absolutely good enough for what you're usually going to be using them for, so that's fantastic. I didn't even realize it came with those, so that was a bonus. These are the translucent parts for the stand, where the stand for this one, for the Figma nonsense, that one came with like a peg that just kind of sticks in the back of it, which is, you know, it's not super reliable and a bit of a pain to get in there in the first place. This one comes with it's kind of a pincer grip So, yeah, there you go. So it's more like a pincer grip system, and it's actually fairly tight as well. Yeah, I mean, that will pop out, but that's, you know, fairly tight, so that you could, you know, you got your pincers, and then you've got the cradle for the yeah. So that's that, and yeah, let's have a look at this actual guy. Now, what I love about these ones is, or these things in general, is that they are going to give you more accuracy in what you're drawing. They're going to make whatever you're drawing look a lot better if you use them right. So first thing I will bring out of this packet is, I really like this actually. So this is the base of the what's it called? Body Kun. And it's really cool because there's space inside of the base to put all of the extra. So see, he's got like a bunch of extra hands here. Those all pop in there. Everything theoretically from this little accessory sprue fits in this base as well. If you put the sword in it diagonally, it fits in there. That's a really nice idea, which, you know, you don't get that with the Figma. Even if you buy the genuine version, the Figma only comes with that flat base. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I like that. You get a whole bunch of extra hands, so I'm not sure how well these are going to show up on camera, so I'll try and hold. This grey on white is not fantastic. So you get a whole bunch of extra hands for martial arts poses, kind of vanity poses, that kind of thing. You've got some which are sculpted to hold the sword or the gun. Oh, completely off camera there. Yeah, some which are sculpted to hold the sword or the gun. Yeah, pretty cool. And then the actual fella himself. Now, he is not amazingly tight jointed, but it's a different country to the Figma over there. I'm not worried about snapping this guy. I'm not worried about, you know, going too far with these joints and popping one out of place or anything like that. He's actually, you know, he feels substantial, he feels well made. Already, like I say, I've had him out of the box, I've had a little bit of a play with it, and, you know, the poses you can get with this are just in a different league to what you can get with the Figma, because this one actually does do what it's supposed to do. So yeah, this is actually a pretty nifty little thing. If I'm honest, this one was £25 or something in that region. I'm not entirely sure that this isn't a knockoff. It could well be a knockoff, just a really well made one, because the thing that makes me think that is there's certain things like he's got a little bit of a mold line under his chin there. You probably can't make that out. This right shoulder is significantly looser than the left shoulder. I don't think it's not in any danger of popping out or anything, but it is, you know, it doesn't feel as in there. And also, yeah, oh well, I guess the other one does that as well when you get to this point. But yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if this is a knockoff. I haven't seen anything online about knockoffs of these. Sorry, get distracted by these. I've not seen any articles about knockoffs of these models, but, you know, doesn't mean they're not out there. It just means that, you know, people aren't talking about it yet. It could well be that this is. I did buy it from China, so, you know, chances are that's not, you know, saying that everything from China is fake, but, you know, when something is cheap and from China, usually you're not looking at a genuine product. But yeah, I mean, even if this is a knockoff, it's a good enough knockoff that I'm not super fussed. Oops, just looking on top of his head there. Yeah, it's a good enough knockoff that I'm not fussed at the price that I paid for it. It's miles ahead of anything that you've got with one of those crappy wooden mannequins. And yeah, I'll just bring out the Figma again and just kind of side by side them. So it could, I mean, I don't know about the height difference on this. You know, is that a realistic height difference? Yeah, it looks okay on camera actually. So theoretically, if this was actually worth using, I could use this one. But, you know, like I say, I'm too concerned that I'm going to break it at any point. But yeah, there we go. That's something a little bit different that I wasn't expecting to pick up today. Like I say, it is something that I've been wanting to try, so I'm not necessarily saying it's fantastic because I haven't actually spent a great deal of time using it yet. Let's see how this hand comes off. This is when I break the whole thing. How does the hand come off? Right, I'm going to need to use instructions back in a sec. Okay, so I've managed to get the hand off the base hand, which I'm going to put back on this, otherwise I'm going to lose it. And I've managed to put on the grip hand, the one that's got the hole in there. So let's pop the sword off the sprue. This is not, I mean, the sword's unlikely to be anything that I actually end up using because I mainly want this for figure reference rather than, you know, weapon reference. But it's just interesting to see if it actually, especially this right arm, see if it actually has the weight to, or the strength to support that weight. So this is a tight fit. I'm not sure that this is the right hand for this. There we go. Yeah, so it actually supports that relatively well. I think there's a little bit of slack in it there, but you know, it's not too bad at all. As you can see, you can get some pretty cool poses with this thing. It's like, you know, you can get realistic kind of, it's even got toe articulation, which is, you know, there's a nice little touch there. But yeah, overall, highly recommend this. What I'll do is I'll do a few pictures, I'll do a few drawings where I actually use this, and I'll pop them up on the channel in maybe the next video. But yeah, I really like that, and I think that's worth the money. If you want something that's going to help you, if you struggle like me with anatomical proportions, like I'm always, one of the things I always screw up, and one of the reasons I usually draw super deformed and chibi characters, is because I always mess up that kind of, these arm section lengths, where they're supposed to be. I'm vaguely aware that your hand is supposed to fall halfway down your thigh, but you know, that just means I usually end up with this bit like super long and then the forearm tiny to compensate. So yeah, hopefully that was interesting. If if you've been looking at these things, if you have considered picking one up, if you haven't, you know, maybe you are now. If so, leave a comment, leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed the video. Please, like I said before, subscribe to the video because it doesn't make me feel like I'm doing good things for the channel, and hopefully see you again soon.